up, everybody? My name is Elliot, and it's kind of hard to jump into frame when you're holding the camera. But if you can't tell from behind me, yes, I'm still in the Midwest, but I'm not in Kansas anymore. I am in Indiana, and you can see from the cool cars behind me, I'm on the Enthusiast Tour. And wait until you see which one of these I'm driving today. Yes, it's not the Riviera, but it is the California. Let's take a look at some of these cars, and then let's get this Ferrari out on the road. All right, like I said, I am on the Worldwide Auctioneers Enthusiast Tour, and this is a really cool event where you drive a bunch of cool cars and you go see some really cool private collections and go eat at some really cool places, like this behind me. This is the Studebaker House. So the Studebaker family, like the car company, built this house in like 1903, and it is a giant castle, but now it is a brewery and a restaurant and a museum. Funny how that works. But let me show you some of these cool cars that are on this tour, and then I'll take you with me on a few of these stops. Starting with this beautiful 911 Turbo. It is a really cool spec, but the cool part that I like is the graphics, the way it subtly says turbo in the rear here. It's so neat. We've got a C8 Corvette, kind of, you know, you see these around, but this one has bronze wheels, kind of neat. A DB7, which is great to see one running. This is really cool. This is a long wheelbase Phantom. He's just joining us for lunch, but we got to see his collection. It is insane. We got a 31 Cadillac, 65-ish GTO. This is a one-off Roush Mustang. I did a piece on this car earlier. It's really neat. It has a hydraulic handbrake. DB9. Everyone loves a good NA Miata. A beautiful new Bentley Continental GTC. A really cool manual Saab 9.3. A 69 Riviera, I believe. Of course, we're gonna come back to this one. This is my 2011 Ferrari California. Some 80s Toyota Celica liftback GT and an awesome M4. So yeah, that is just a sampling of the cars that are in this tour, but let's talk about the car that I'm driving, this 2011 Ferrari California. You guys know I love Ferraris, and you might wonder why I didn't pick an older car to take on this tour. Last year I had a 67 Porsche, but this year I kind of wanted something a little bit more modern, and believe it or not, it was really cold this morning, and I think it's gonna be cold the other few days, so this one's kind of nice to have like modern heating and air conditioning, but still have a really cool, unique car. This one is spec'd pretty well. It's got the Scuderia shields, carbon ceramic brakes. Look at this interior though. Oh, it is just gorgeous in here. I love it, and it's amazing, and it drives really, really well. But let's take a look under the hood, because that's kind of the main part of a Ferrari, isn't it? The engine, the thing that makes the notes. Underneath here with its cool hood scoop is the 454 horsepower V8, which at the time was the slowest Ferrari you could get, but believe me, it's still more than enough to get the job done. I just love the way it's packaged, and you can tell it's still kind of a front mid-engine thing for how far back it's sitting relative to the front wheels. Like I said, remember when this car came out, this was Ferrari's attempt to make a base model, but turns out even a base model Ferrari is very, very nice. So let's get this thing out on the road, because the next stop should be pretty cool. Oh, and quick fun fact before I close the hood. Something I've always wondered on California is if the hood scoop was functional, and it turns out it is. This actually, you can see daylight through there. Now, what is it doing? It's just kind of blowing on the throttle bodies. But the point is, it is open to the air. Air does go through it. I don't think it enhances performance, but it's something I've always wondered about these cars. All right, now let's get the car out on the road. All right, out on the road now in the Ferrari California. And of course I had to put the top down, because when in Rome, Italian car joke. No, but seriously, it's a convertible. It's a passable 55, you just gotta do it. And it's the best way to hear this V8. This car's interesting, one, because I mentioned it literally in my last video, how it was something that was appealing to me. I didn't know I'd get to be driving it on the tour. I thought I'd just get to kind of walk around it, but here I am. So thank you to the folks at Worldwide for tossing me the keys to a Ferrari California for the day and letting me do all this cool stuff. Now, about the car, like I said in the parking lot, this was Ferrari's attempt to make a base model or an entry-level model, much like a lot of manufacturers do. It gives you a taste for the brand, and then you kind of want to buy nicer and better Ferraris. And it's a really great way to do that. It works for Porsche, it works for Audi, it works for a lot of companies. You get them in at the base level, and then you got them for life. But it was very foreign to Ferrari owners at the time, because they were like, a front-engine V8 car? That's weird. But they did a good job of making it not competitive with anything else. It's not a supercar like the 458 and every other kind of Ferrari. It's much more of a grand tourer, hence the hardtop convertibleness. They weren't concerned with weight, because it doesn't matter. This car is more about cruising and getting a feel for Ferrari than it is track times. But that's not to say that it's a slouch. Trust me, as you'll see here in a second, this thing absolutely rips. And it does the other good Ferrari stuff of sounding good and having premium touch materials all the way around. I love the stitching on these seats. See, coming into a roundabout now. Yeah. Yep. It's good. And as you can hear, it's a dual clutch. So this was early in the dual clutch game for Ferraris, but man, it's still lightning fast. And this car actually has the optional carbon fiber part of the steering wheel with shift lights in it, which really doesn't make a lot of sense in this car, but it is really cool and I do love it. Like I said, this is a lot different than it was last year. I was in a 1967 Porsche, which was fantastic, but it is nowhere near the speed demon that this thing is. And believe it or not, it doesn't get as many looks. This has definitely gotten a lot of attention. I don't think there are very many Ferraris in Indiana. Probably like in Kansas, you have one, everyone's like, oh my gosh, I thought those were all in California. I didn't even mean to make a California joke. But no, people in the Midwest just kind of assume Ferraris are only in Miami and California. So seeing one anywhere in the middle of the United States is pretty weird. So people get pretty excited. And heck, I get excited. I'm the one behind the wheel and I'm just over the moon about it. And one thing about this car that I've noticed after driving it for a little bit, it's not shy about opening up the valve and the exhaust. I mean, in a great way. Like even a little bit of throttle in it. It's amazing. That was a quarter throttle and it opened the valve right up. I didn't have to hammer on it and get it above 5,000 RPMs for the thing to make a sound, which is great. That's what you want. This thing is capable of ludicrous speeds, and sometimes you just want to hear it without, you know, going to jail. Brief period to open it up here. Oh my goodness gracious. And carbon ceramic brakes to slow me down. Let's just say that was the Indiana speed limit, and it got there with a quickness. And honestly, it's just that good Ferrari sound. Yes, it's a detuned version of a V8, but 450 plus horsepower is still going to get the job done. This is the perfect amount of fast, much like the Corvette Z06. It's just a good amount of fast that you can have fun with, not the scary amount of fast like in the V12 cars. What a car. What a great car to drive a distance. Oh, another roundabout. Handling. And more sound. Oh, I mean, it's hard to describe. For a Grand Tourer, it's so direct. It's amazing. Like, these cars got a lot of crap when they came out, from people who were used to everything being the 458. No, it's not as darty and perfect as the 458, but with reading what journalists say, I kind of expected it to drive like a damn Jaguar, but it's still a Ferrari. It still drives like a Ferrari, and it still has that Ferrari snap. And it's a heck of a bargain. So this actual car will be going up for auction on Saturday, so do be sure to tune in for that. I will be doing the broadcasting. But these have typically traded at or about 100 grand, which I know is crazy expensive, but it's not for what you're getting. It's decently reliable. You know how I know? This one has 35,000 miles on it, which in Ferrari world is like 120,000 miles. And it's fine. It is rock solid, nothing is loose. This was meant to be a starter Ferrari, and it's a great starter Ferrari. I love it, personally. All right, now we are on our way to tour Notre Dame's football stadium. Now, I'm not a giant football guy, but even I know the significance of Notre Dame and their football stadium. I mean, heck, the movie Rudy, we've all seen it. It's amazing. Plus, they just have so many championships. It is a football school. Their stadium is massive. It's gonna be super cool. And we get to take these cars and park them like basically right at the gate, which should be pretty special too. I imagine the college kids would get pretty excited seeing this procession of cars come through. I know I would, but nothing like this ever happened at Mizzou. Let's go check out Notre Dame Stadium. And just like that, we have arrived, and look, all of the cars have gathered accordingly. And if you can read what's behind me, this is the Notre Dame football stadium. So we get a tour of that. I know it doesn't have anything to do with cars, but it is historic and it is cool. So let's go hop in there, see what that's all about. All right, so we've been getting a tour, but look at this. I'm actually out on the field in Notre Dame's actual stadium, and it is huge. You really don't get the idea of how big these places are until you're down here. And I can only imagine the nerves the players feel being out here and having this stadium filled with like 100,000 people. The scale is just insane. And also the history is insane. Remember the movie Rudy? That's this place. Anyway, let's see what else the tour has in store. The visitor's locker room. Pretty cool. Oh, 100% plays were written here. Oh, look, there's one. I know a whiteboard when I see one. Here's something you're not going to get on another automotive channel, though, a bathroom tour. Behold, the showers. Not even I thought I'd be giving a shower tour today. What a wild day. And now check this out. This is the press conference room, which is pretty neat. Okay, stadium tour is over. It was kind of cool to be in the corridor area when it's not massively crowded, given I've never been here before, but it's still really neat. The tour guide was great, a lot of history, and it's really cool being in this place. But now we're gonna go back to the cars, drive a little bit through campus, and then on to dinner at like an Amish restaurant. Who knows? This tour, it's always something new going on. It's cool. All right, well, I put the top back up on the Ferrari because it's cold and we're heading into dinner. We have arrived at dinner location, Das Dutchman, which is a fantastic name for an Amish restaurant, but I think I'm going to end it here. Be sure to check back tomorrow for even more Enthusiast Tour coverage, possibly a different car, but I really wouldn't mind continuing to drive the California. I really fell in love with it today. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media, and more importantly, tune into Worldwide Auctioneers Auction on Saturday to watch me talk about these things as they get auctioned off. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a great week. I will see you guys on the next video. Is this it?
So I'll video.
Yeah. I'm just This is like the oldest. What is okay? I mean, this is a random part before we drive.
I'm his co-star, by the way, in case you haven't met me before.
John.
I'm John.
So we're in the second oldest elevator in
the country.
The country.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn old.
I learned how to drive it already. So the first thing you have to do is shut the door.
Shut it like an old.
All the way, and then with your left hand, hold it shut, but don't stick your fingers through, obviously. Okay. And then just push 4.
There's in 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're in B. Push 3.
Oh, dude, it's kind of fast. And then I guess if I release this, it'll just
Correct.
stop.
So just hold it.
Oh my gosh.
And we're almost there. Hear how rickety it is?
Yes. Well, I mean, it's 100 years old. Will it stop?
It's gonna stop on the 4th floor.
Okay. It's like I don't want this thing to just like run into the ceiling if it's that manual. Oh.
There we go.
How about that?
Now you're done. Now you open that door.
You open this.
And you push that. So this, so this is before we finish the second. I think you mentioned the second oldest.
Yeah, let's take a step out.
And we'll give you a view here too. I don't mean to be taken over here. I'm just trying to help you on the camera.
That is neat.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. How about that?
So we're trying to figure out if things like this is DNA or delamination.
Like, you have weddings in this building, so it could go either way. All right, so now same
you
deal.
hold it left hand, push the B. There we go.
How about that?
Off we go.
And now I can add elevator operator to my credentials.
Elevator pilot.
Wow. How about that? That's pretty neat.
See, this is the stuff we do. He brings me in when we do the heavy lifting.
Right.
This is the heavy lifting.
This was a two-man job.
It was. It was literally at least a two-arm job.
Oh, for sure. But I think you just wanted this so you could be like
a star on your video.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one thing that I can't show on video because I'll get a copyright strike, but the previous owner left a mixed CD in here that I can only describe as perfect old guy Ferrari music. It is literally yacht rock and hit after hit after hit. Every song is so good to the point where I'm probably going to remove it from this car and keep it for when I have my first Ferrari. I could not have picked a better Ferrari playlist. I mean, I'm just sad that I don't have higher socks on right now because I should be in Miami with the top down and this music. It's indescribable. Thank you, seriously, previous owner. Excellent taste, both in car and in music.